and welcome to the 2025 ARWS Manx Grand Prix from the Derby Airfield Circuit on the Isle of Man. After yesterday's chaotic race in the rain, it does look like we'll once again be treated to some wet weather action for what is going to be the third race in a row now. On pole today, it is Edvard Holm, our championship leader, who, after all of his many retirements, he's now finished first or second in the last four races and leads the championship by 19 points from the man who starts next to him on the grid, Phillippe Nicolas. On the second row of the grid, it's a fantastic qualifying effort from Jantscher to put the Euromotor third on the grid. We'll see if he can convert that into a solid result in this race, as he's quietly moved his way up into 7th in the championship. Alongside him, it's Kazama, who very much had the quickest car on track yesterday before a very swift engine failure took her out of the race. It is Bock starting 5th, really needing a strong result in this race to put himself back in the championship fight. Bradley Dagnall will be starting 6th, so good qualifying from both of the Euromotors in this race. Takuma Taki will be starting 7th, as he did yesterday, en route to a podium, and his and the first finish for Scorpio in 4 races. So Scorpio looking to get their season back on track here. Martin McFry, after a very dismal performance yesterday in the rain, spinning several times and still winding up 5th thanks to his rapid pace around this track. He'll be starting 8th this time and hoping for a little bit less drama in his race. Gary Pacer will be starting 9th, hoping to redeem himself after throwing away a short podium yesterday. Emma Kickert started 10th yesterday and won, so she'll be definitely hoping to replicate that effort. Anu Vosu will start 11th, and next to her in 12th, it's Ben Fleet. Amani Burrell heads up the W12 powered entries with Katie May alongside her, starting 14th. It's Naoki Shinjo and Kaylon on row 8, the Mecha and the Bentley, respectively. Nathanael Cameron, can he continue his finishing streak here? He starts 17th and has finished every race so far this season. Amy Goethe would love to be able to finish another race. She had a similar streak going, but has retired from the last 2 races. Pierre Saint-Laurent had a strong run going in the race yesterday, and he'll be hoping to replicate that up until the point where his car broke down. He'll be hoping that doesn't happen. Václav Malish also had a pretty strong run going and then spun off, so he'll be hoping that doesn't happen today. Malik Zidane had a couple of spins himself and will be starting 21st and hoping for better today. Aki Yamamura was a very early casualty of the reliability of the Honda engine, and they will be hoping for a better luck in that regard here today. Aurora Summers will lead up the Yongwangs, the Yongwang engined cars, once again out-qualifying Alberto Cara, and on the final row of the grid we have Fu Wen and Araya Havel. And with that, the start of the race is just moments away. Engines fired here at Derby, waiting for the lights to go out. Similar conditions to yesterday, rain all the way through this race as we are go. Holm tries desperately to cover off Phillippe Nicolas, but Nicolas found his way to the inside. Holm hangs on around to the outside, and he will lead coming out of the first quarter from Nicolas, Jantscher, Kazama, Bock, Fleet and McFry. Good starts from Fleet particularly there. And Fleet there trying to attack the Bock for 5th, but no luck there. Gary Pacer in 10th. Kickert, terrible start for Kickert. She had a fantastic start yesterday, and that's what really put her in a position to potentially win. As I think somebody's gone a bit wide there. Was that Pierce all around? He's had a terrible start, down in 25th. No, I think it is a clean start otherwise. So Holm has a margin of just a little under a second from Nicolas. We'll be hoping to really pull away, and we've got an issue on one of the Scorpios. It's Takuma Taki. So podium last time out, he's going to have to put a strong performance on here today to recover from that bit of misfortune. Jantscher doing well off the start, though, to hang on to that 3rd place. As Taki comes back out of the pits and will rejoin the race just ahead of Edvard Holm, who is just put in the fastest lap of the race. Pierre Saint Laurent looking to make up for that very poor start. He's made it past both of the peaks, but still has to find his way around Yamamura and Fu Wen. Field's starting to get a little bit strung out here. Not really seeing anybody really trying to push their luck in terms of an overtake as of yet. Of course, I think a lot of these drivers are probably a little bit wary after what happened yesterday with several drivers falling off the track simply from pushing too hard, and of course the wet weather conditions. Holm here looks like he is being held up a little bit by Takuma Taki. He will want to get past the Scorpio in quick succession. Oh, that would be because Taki's had an electrical issue that's held up Holm, and I think that has just handed the lead to Phillippe Nicolas. Very opportunistic move here from the Frenchman. Yeah, Holm had to back out there, and Nicolas very eagerly takes the race lead. As Jantscher now looking for 2nd place from our championship leader. Holm very, very brave around the outside, though. He refuses to give up anything else than the lead. As we've got Kazama and Bock really trying to maximize their positions here, but not able to really put a move on each other or on Jantscher, I suppose. Looking a little bit further down the field, W12s are more or less sorted out. It's just yeah, very much a train of I3s up front here, with Holm in hot pursuit of Nicolas for this race lead. Looks like the Foxtails were having a bit of a tussle between them. No issues on either of those cars as of yet, though, as I think Saint Laurent having to go up the inside of Yamamura here. Yamamura able to hang on as the Peaks are also battling for position between themselves. Saint Laurent having a look to the outside of Yamamura into the first corner. That is very quickly shot off by the Asian African driver. As Taki now begins his long recovery drive. I think he's a lap behind the entire field at this point. Summer's having another go up the inside of her teammate, but Hevel shutting the door there as Nicolas continues to lead from Holm and Jantscher. Kazama and Bock in hot pursuit as well, as a gap is formed up between this top 5 and the two Foxtails. Salarot has found his way to the inside of Gamamura and takes over 20th. This is Taki fighting his way through the Yonglong powered entries. Holm here, I haven't seen him really make a move as of yet on Nicolas. It looks like he's content to hang on to that position. Of course, he does still hold the fastest lap of the race. So he, with the bonus points from that, he is effectively outscoring Nicolas at this stage. Of course, it was by a similar method that Nicolas actually took a couple of points out of Holm's lead. As again, McFry taking a look up the inside of Ben Fleet. Fleet closes off his teammate. But this battling between the Foxtails is costing them and the cars behind them time to the top 5 in this race. We'll be really looking at making a move as of yet. I think, it might be the case that these drivers are waiting instead for the pit stops to make their move through the field. Of course, we are expecting a similar pit strategy to yesterday with the pit window anywhere between lap 20 and 40, really. And of course, a single stop expected of all our drivers in this race. Looks pretty close coming behind Nicolas, but yeah, you can see the Holiday very, very quick out of the corners there. Simpson just not able to keep pace with the Holiday in a straight line there. Summers again taking a look at the inside of Hevel, but fell again able to defend that position. I think the Foxtails again battling each other for 6th place there. Oh, Vozu locks up pretty badly there at the bus stop chicane. Does not lose a position, and I think nobody else managed to take advantage of that either. As we've got Nicolas now encountering this lap traffic. Fu Wen. I'm sorry, that was Kara, not Fu Wen. Kara forcing Nicolas almost onto the grass there. Nicolas able to avoid any sort of dramas, but this could be very dicey for these leaders as they find their way, as they now are behind the squabbling peaks. Summers very graciously allowing the leaders through here. Kazama there having to go up the inside of Jantscher, but not able to pull it off. The Bock lost a bit of time through all this traffic as well. But Holm has managed to hang on to the back of Nicolas through all that traffic. I think that is Dagnall trying to find a way around Vozu into the bus stop there, but that is really not an ideal place to be making a move, as this group of cars now finds their way, trying to find their way through. As I think Kazama's managed to get around Jantscher. I think that might be an issue on Marco Jantscher's Euromotor. Indeed it is. It's a transmission failure. Oh goodness. So Jantscher's bit of good luck in finishing races recently coming to an end, it would seem. The Euromotor has had enough. He's not going to be able to get that back to the pits. So Jantscher out early in this. I think that's our first retirement, in fact. Which makes a big change from the reliability we saw yesterday. I think a lot of teams going a lot more conservative with their parts and setups for this race following the chaos we saw yesterday. So Kazama now up into third place. She's lost a little bit of time to, well, actually she's about as far behind Nicolas and Holm as she was before. It's just she doesn't have Jantscher between them anymore. Ooh, Vozu there, very daring. Oh goodness, that's some contact. Oh goodness, as Bradley Dagnall's lost both his wings. Oh no. Dagnall there, taking a look up the inside of Vozu. Vozu covers off the Euromotor, and Dagnall there gets into the back of the peak, breaks his front wing. Oh, gets caught out under braking, and Kickert there cleans out Dagnall's rear wing. That was Roar Summers that Dagnall made contact with, and Gary Pacer lost quite a lot of time in all of that as well. Tara now having a look up the inside of Summers for position here, but Summers able to hang on to it. Holm is still sat right on the tail of Phillippe Nicolas. You have to think he's definitely playing the long game in this race. As Lon here fighting with Cameron for 13th there. Having another, Lon having a look up the inside of Cameron for 13th, but not able to get the move done there. McFry's lost some time to Bentley as they've been negotiating this lap traffic, so the battle of the Foxtails on hold for the moment, it would seem. And Gautier's into the pits. It's a very early stop. Brake issues on the checkmate, but Gautier able to get it back to the pits, so that should be resolved, and she'll be back on the track shortly. As we've got the mechas battling for position here. This is Shinjo attacking Zidane for 15. Holm there going very deep on the entry to the bus stop. As they've caught, I believe, Yamamura to lap the Japanese driver. And somebody else is going into the pits. It's a very early pit stop for Tomo Kazama. So Kazama are the first of our leaders to make their scheduled pit stop. A long final stint for Kazama, but if she can avoid getting held up too badly by some traffic, she could well capitalize on this and jump ahead of Holm and her teammate Nicolas, although she's come out right behind Burrell and May in 11th place on the track. And Yelda Bock now pitting, so to Bock following Kazama in a lap later, taking a strategy cue from the Holiday team, and also into the pits it's Anu Bozu for Scorpio, so some of the leaders here following the pit strategy of Tomo Kazama. Bradley Dagnall's developed an engine issue, so it looks like it's going to be another retirement for the Euromotor driver. A double DNF, in fact, for Euromotor. Which I believe would be their first, in fact, since Jurama. So this team has come quite a long way in terms of reliability and picking up consistent results, but it's not going to go their way today. So that's promoted Bentley up into third position in the race. Edvard Holm's lost a bit of time to Nicolas, in fact it seems. Kickert in the other Simpson is pitting. Holm there now 2 seconds behind our race leader, but Nicolas is behind a huge gaggle of lap traffic here. This could be pose an opportunity for Holm to close back in on the race leader. That is Fleet now up into third and throwing fourth with Pacer in fifth. Kazama now in 6th place. She's made it past Burrell and May. Got some, she's got a little bit of traffic ahead of her as Gary Pacer is slowing. And Gary Pacer, once again, is going to retire from the race. And he's not going to be able to redeem himself after throwing away a short podium in yesterday's race, as a Pacer now joins both of the Euromotors out of the race. McFry into the pits now, as well as Phillippe Zidane, and that is also, I believe, Vasa Malish coming out of the pits now, just ahead of who went in the young one. As Taki is now finally starting to pass cars for position. He's just gotten around Havel and Summers, the heats. Nicolas' gap over Holm has shrunk to just about a second here. Ooh, Zabok there having to get out of it in order to avoid running into the heat there of Havel. Oh no! Edvard Holm! Oh no! The championship leader has gone off and lost his front wing. He just got it all wrong there at Snuffles, trying to avoid running into the back of Nathanael Cameron. In fact, that is the exact situation he was in at the Japanese Grand Prix last year, which resulted in him crashing out and losing what would have been a sure race win. Holm able to avoid at least completely crashing himself out of the race, but he's going to have to get back to the pits and replace that front wing. This is going to significantly hamper his chances of potentially winning this race, as Nicolas continues on his way, and Kazama set to come through to jump back up into third position on the road. The Bock there coming through now takes fourth from Holm, so Holm could definitely be in a worse position, but he's lost quite a bit of time to the likes of Nicolas. That's Pierre Saint-Laurent coming into the pits, and also Ben Fleet, so our second place driver, also pitting. As we are now closing in on the halfway mark of this race, I think a lot of the drivers favoring staying out, as we've got a big gaggle of cars here up behind Raya Havel. That's a lot of drivers in this mix losing quite a bit of time as they have to negotiate all this lap traffic. Ooh, Burrell there getting all out of shape in Snuffles. Nobody's fallen off the track though, so that is one thing they can at least be pleased about. So Kazama now up into second place as her teammate is into the pits. Phillippe Nicolas, our race leader, into the pits. Kazama coming into the final corner now as Nicolas is serviced by the homers. I think this is going to hand the lead to Kazama. I think she's done enough. Indeed, that is Tomo Kazama taking the race lead. So the short pit definitely paying off at this stage for Tomo Kazama. It's another fastest lap for Edvard Holm, and he's back up into third. He's gotten around Yal de Bock somewhere in all of this. I think de Bock has... Oh, de Bock had to lift for Gauthier coming into the pits. And that allowed Holm through into third place, just as Nicolas left the pits. And Nicolas here held up behind Summers, as Kazama now has a good advantage over all of these drivers. De Bock really must be ruining the strategy called to follow Kazama, because it is definitely not worked in his favor the way it has for Kazama. So we've got Lon in the pits now, and yellow flags as Saint-Laurent's off. It's another retirement for Pierre Saint-Laurent. That's an engine failure on the Bentley once again for the Canadian. And Zidane, the Mecha, has again encountered mechanical troubles. It's a transmission failure, and it's another retirement for the Honda W12. So Kazama has a lead of about 5 seconds over her teammate as Zidane parks at the side of the road. Holm Returns to the track, not too far behind Nicolas. Well, I should say after losing his front wing. Oh my goodness! And they didn't fuel the car on that pit stop, so Holm's gonna have to pit again. That is not ideal for him. As McFly spun at the bus stop. Oh, it's a disaster weekend, it looks like, for McFly as he goes pirouetting off through the grass. That's given away a 6th place to Emma Kickert, but he hasn't lost any... Well, no, Vozu also got through, so he's lost 2 positions there. Oh, Yamamura's lost his front wing. Lost their front wing. Yeah, just got too wide out of the corner as Shinjo is retiring. So it's another double DNF for Mecha. That's a transmission failure for both of the Mechas, in fact. It's Nicolas Holm battling for second here into the bus stop. Nicolas hangs on to it. May and Burrell are pitting from 10th and 11th. Yamamura also into the pits for the other ARWS. Ooh, goodness there. Malak really having to get out of it as he's getting swarmed by the Ivories. Just didn't have to another attempt to Kumataki. Nicolas is starting to close in, well, it was starting to close in on Kazama, but that little bit of traffic from Malish has put the gap back up to 5 seconds between the 2 holidays. So he's having a solid run here today, though. I think he's been running in 5th most of the day. And he has been seeing off the challenge from his teammate, as I think that is Holm coming into the pits now. So that is the championship leader into the pits. We'll have to be hoping he can put on a very strong performance in these closing laps to make up some of these positions he's giving up from not being able to fuel up on that first pit stop. Also into the pits we have Fu Wen in the second Yonglong. Currently running in 18th. 20 cars running still at this stage in the race. And Summers, I think, has finally gotten the move done on Havel. And Havel spins out. Stopped right on the racing line there, but I think she'll be able to spin it around. That is one of the worst spin turns I've seen in my life. We've got Kara and Cameron into the pits as well. Havel gets it going again. And Holm is in 8th place, about 10 seconds behind Martin Fry. As we've got another yellow flag. It's Ben Fleet! Oh no! It was a very solid drive for Ben Fleet, but it's not been the weekend for Foxdale. They were hoping for some great things, and Yamamura is also having an engine failure, so it's more reliability issues for Honda. They've been having so many reliability issues in the Honda-powered entries. That's 3 of the 4 now out of the race. Oh no, Kazama has spun! Kazama has spun from the lead! Nicolas takes over the lead! What happened to Kazama? Oh, she just overcooked it, got on the grass, and she spun around! Just like Araya Hevel just did, in fact, except she wasn't under any sort of pressure. Kazama spins the car back, pointing the right direction, but she's going to have to wait for Emma Kickert to come through to take 3rd place, as well as all of these cars. So Kazama will get going again in 6th place, but is any hope of winning this race, or probably even finishing on the podium, gone for Kazama. And once again, it puts the race back in the hands of Phillippe Nicolas. We've got a 3.8 second gap now over Bock, and Emma Kickert about 20 seconds behind our current race leader. So Holm currently with the fastest lap as things stand, but I think it was very, very close for the 2nd fastest lap, I believe, between the likes of Kickert, Kazama, Nicolas, and Bock, all of them putting in a 40.62 as their quickest lap of the race. So we've got Taki making, I believe, what must be his scheduled pit stop, because and his 3rd stop of the day, effectively. Ooh, long there. Going a bit brave around, trying to get around the outsiders. Oh no, one of the Scorpios is slowing. It's Anu Vozu again, and another retirement for Scorpio. We've got another car off. It's Emma Kickert from 3rd place. And she's completely overcooked it. Again, approaching a Jones, although this one was Katie May. So, Vozu now out. And Kickert having to wait to rejoin the race. That's given a position at least to Edvard Holm and Kazama. As Nicolas' lead has meanwhile been stretched to 4.2 seconds over Bock. Malish, Burrell, and May battling very hard for 7th place here. In fact, Holm has caught Kazama for 4th place. Will he be able to do anything about passing the holiday, though? I don't think he'll be able to on this lap. In fact, he's probably going to encounter the same sort of issues he had at the start of the race, trying to get around Nicolas. Although he's got a great run down the back straight, I don't think this is he's got enough of one to really send it up the inside, and indeed Kazama easily handles his attempts there. This is Burrell trying to close in on Malish, but not quite close enough to take a look up the inside of the checkmate. Burrell there having another look at Malish, but not able to do anything with it. Laps are quickly winding down here at Derby. Nicolas with a 4-second lead, comfortable but not too comfortable over the Cascadia driver. Well, looks a little closer behind Malish than she did last time. Is she going to be able to set it up the inside? Not quite. I think this is Cameron also attacking long for 10th. He's got a good run here down the back straight. Can he get far enough alongside? He decides instead to allow the Scorpio of Taki through. In fact, that was for position. That was for position between those two drivers, but I think the likelihood of Cameron holding off Taki for any significant amount of time was pretty slim, to tell you the truth. So, as things stand in the championship, Holm is looking at a potential gain in his championship lead, in fact, thanks to the fastest lap. It would be about 28 points, his margin over Nicolas. Nobody else making any gains as things stand currently. And so, despite his issues with the spin and broken front wing earlier, and having to make an extra pit stop as a result, Edvard Holm is going to be looking at a strengthened championship lead, and someone who very much is in the middle of this championship fight, as of course the points leader. Oh goodness, that was close there between Taki and that was Holm, in fact, our championship leader, electing perhaps it's best to just let the Scorpio through, as Taki is trying to fight his way through all of these squabbling W12s. And instead he allows Holm back through. Holm is a lap ahead of Taki currently, so a bit of a catch-22 situation there. And instead he very wisely elects this time to just follow Holm through as he laps Katie May, and Taki takes over 9th place as a result. Of course, all this battling, all this traffic that Holm is caught up. Oh my goodness! Oh, that was a bit of contact there, I think, between Holm and Burrell. I don't know if there's any damage on either of those two cars. I don't think that was. This is Holm. Oh, yeah, there was definitely contact between those two. No damage, though, and Holm will continue on in 5th place. This is definitely meaning he doesn't really have much of a chance of catching or passing Tomo Kazama as things stand. talk, he easily takes 8th from Burrell. I think we'll very quickly also take 7th from Malish down this main straight. As we have coming to 10 laps to go here. As Nicolas crosses the line, 10 laps to go for a race leader who's just maintained that gap that he has over Yel de Bock. In fact, the lead has gone up to 5 seconds on that previous lap. As de Bock encountered a little bit of traffic, but it's once again looking good for Phillippe Nicolas, but remember that was what it was looking like yesterday. And then, of course, he had a puncture. Was it a puncture or a loose wheel? It was something very late on, and just with a couple laps to go, cost him a very well-deserved race win. He'll definitely have that in the back of his mind right now, I can tell you that. Also, something that slipped my notice at the moment is Martin McFry is up into a podium position. Despite what's been a very disappointing weekend for him, you have to say. But he is right there up in 3rd position. Ooh, as Malish there runs Kickert a little bit out of road there, but Kickert switches back and puts a lap on the checkmate. This battle between Malish, Burrell, and May is still raging on for 8th place now. None of them able to gain a step on the others presently. Cameron also not able to find a way past Lon as of yet. I think Holm was caught back up to Kazama for 4th. Yeah, no, he's facing the same sort of issues he was having earlier with the straight line speed of Holiday, not really making it possible for him to get close enough to really make a real move on the Holiday. In fact, that is Martin McFly not too far ahead of them, so if Holm can make this move and catch and pass McFly, it's not entirely out of the question that he gets a podium in this race, but is definitely looking like a tall order for the championship leader as things stand. Of course, with the fastest lap and bonus points associated with that in his pocket, Holm's probably not particularly bothered about pressing the issue. Oh, we've got yellow flags. It's Emma Kickert! And her disaster season continues. Engine failure for the Simpson Jetstar. And that is another major, well, not a major points day, but definitely a lot of lost points once again from a mechanical issue for the Dutch woman who swept every single pole position last season, still yet to claim a single one this year. She did finally break a year-long winless streak yesterday. Not the case today, though. That is Taki actually unlapping himself from Edvard Holm, which I think Holm is going to be very displeased with, I think you'd have to say. Taki has really no business putting himself in the middle of this battle. Even if Holm doesn't exactly need to be really pressuring Kazama for that position as things currently stand. We're all having another look up the inside there of Malish, but it's very quickly time running out for the Bermudan, as right behind them it's Phillippe Nicolas coming around the final corner to start the final lap of the race. Bock did manage to take a second out of Phillippe Nicolas on the previous lap, but with the gap still at 3.5 seconds. All Phillippe Nicolas has to do is get around the bus stop, which he does. One more corner to go for the Frenchman. And after losing what was a sure win yesterday through a very unlucky late retirement, Phillippe Nicolas puts things right and claims his, what is this, his 15th win? No, not 15th, 18th win, I believe. I really should have had that lined up at when I made that call. That is, in fact, yes, his 18th career win for Phillippe Nicolas. To Bock and McFry completing the podium, and it's Kazama finishing 4th place, which it could have been much better for Kazama, but it could also have been much worse, as she's all too keenly aware of with her many mechanical retirements. Edvard Holm, his streak of finishing top 2 comes to an end today, but it's another very solid points haul for the Dane, who I believe will be walking away with a strengthened championship lead. Takuma Taki managed to recover from 2 pit stops in the first 2 laps to finish 6th. Malish hang on to 7th against Burrell and May. Juan managed to fend off Cameron for 10th. Amy Gauthier, after an extra pit stop, finishes in 12th. Fu Wen beats Alberto Carter for 13th. Then it's Summers, Havel, and Kickert classified in 17th with a late engine failure. Fastest lap of the day did indeed go the way of Edvard Holm. Second quickest lap goes to Takuma Taki, which is some small consolation for what has been a extremely disappointing season for Scorpio, and Marco Jantscher at least gets 1 point from today for the 3rd fastest lap. And that is it for us from the Jury Airfield circuit. We'll see you next time to the doubleheader Canadian Grand Prix and the Rivière Noire Grand Prix from the Sanair Super Speedway in Quebec. We'll see you there.